Hey, what's going on, everyone? Boylon here, and hope everyone's enjoying their week. Today, we are going to be discussing Red Star upgrade tokens. Those things in the Elite Store. And that's because Chaos Theory just happened this past Friday, and many people are unlocking a swath of gold promotion credits. At least those who finished Tier 7 probably are sitting on enough gold tokens to upgrade another 6 Red Star, like I am here. Maybe even more if you're sitting on those gold tokens from like 5 months ago or whenever they were giving them out in the free login calendar. I kind of forget how long ago that was now. I went and did a bit of a small tier list for what I felt are the best characters to upgrade to 6 Red Star through the gold promotion credits. Now, there's a bit of a disclaimer here, though. I'm not telling people what they should upgrade. I'm just identifying those meta characters who you should consider for these upgrades. You know, if there's someone else that you really want to bring up, that's on you. Also, this is primarily for the 6 Red Star upgrade and not the 4 or 5 Red Stars or any of the other ones, unless you lack them for said character and need to bring them up to get to the 6. I think the silver promotion credits are going to be a little bit more abundant with Chaos Theory and the daily objective, so there is a little bit more flexibility here anyways for those. So without further ado, let's get into it. Right, and here we have what I could come up with as a tier list for Red Star upgrades, particularly for the 6 Red Star upgrade. This was courtesy of Tier Maker. I'll leave a link in the description below, and you can tinker with that if you're ever curious about that. There's a good way that shows all the characters, and you can create your own little mini tier list with that as well. So the way that I sort of identified these characters are how useful they are in all of the game modes, and I kind of categorize it here as 4 out of 4 game modes, 3 out of 4 game modes, honorable mentions, and attempting but no. So this category is maybe some characters that you thought you might be good to upgrade, is really tempting to do so, but I wouldn't recommend doing it. So I just wanted to throw these in here anyways. So the game modes that I am considering is Arena, Raids, Alliance War, and Dark Dimension, especially with Dark Dimension 3 and even 2 to some degree. Some of these characters are used far more frequently than others. When it comes to Dark Dimension, though, I am considering Dark Dimension 3 and a bit more so because that's what I'm in right now. So going first on the list is Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel is a very strong damage dealer character. If you guys have any experience with her or used her before, then you know that she really brings the pain. She does a lot of damage, and she's all about damage. Not only that, her passive also includes a 20% heal. Aside from the passive heals, though, she is like a bucket full of damage. So her binary, huge percentage of burst damage. She also boasts a really incredible speed. So normally she's one of the first few characters that go on any given turn. And she's really usable, I would say, just about everywhere. She's maybe used a little bit less in Arena these days, but I've still seen people use her. Maybe not in my top 10 where I'm sort of in my Arena shard, but definitely other people are still using her. And if you don't have access to the full Black Order, I've still seen people use her as well. Usable in raids as well. Amazing in Alliance War. She can single-handedly solo some people in Alliance War on the defense. And in Dark Dimension, some people have also chosen to take her into Dark Dimension 3 in the Cosmic Lane as well. So she has functionality sort of everywhere. Now moving on to Phoenix, same kind of deal, although for the Arena side of things, she's still being used, but I think with the presence of Black Order now, she's being used a little bit less, and definitely, actually, I'm not sure why she's not in the 3 out of 4 category now that I think about it, because you don't really use her in raids much, because once she's dead, she's dead. But she is still, so I can't move her now because I created this already, but she's definitely a character that you should consider for Red Star upgrades, but I think she's lagging a little bit behind by some of these other characters because of the presence of Black Order for Arena. And when you're using her in Dark Dimension 3, you actually don't really need to rely on her Red Stars to do what she needs to do, which largely is her dying and getting off her special. If anyone has in Dark Dimension 3 right now, largely that's what you do with Phoenix, is you get her killed, you do her special, and if you can get her ultimate off, then that's just the icing on the cake. Because other than that, that's really all she's good for. She was definitely someone I would consider using Red Star upgrade tokens on. Probably about 4 or 5 months ago, I would have said definitely do it. Now I think it really depends on your roster a little bit if you want to make that choice or not. Mainly because of Black Order, I'm a bit reluctant to recommend that too much, but it's still a good choice if that's something you have. Black Bolt, definitely still a great character. His second pass of the event was just before Ebony Maw, and that's where I got him to 6 star, and I also used my upgrade tokens on Black Bolt for 6 red star. So definitely a great choice. He is usable all around. Still used in arena, still used in raids, especially in the Ultimate 7 raids. He's a very strong staple character there. People are using him in Dark Dimension 3, myself included, in the Cosmic lane. And definitely great in Alliance Wars for dismantling the Hydra teams, and even using some sort of mixed Inhuman team to beat the Black Order as well. So definitely a great blaster, solid damage character here. I would actually put him up a little bit higher than probably these two here. I should have rearranged this a little bit better. I'd recommend Black Bolt a little bit more than Phoenix and Captain Marvel at this point. Hela, another great meta character, probably easily one of the top 5 meta characters in the game right now. You don't see her too much in arena anymore, but she is still there. Probably in the top 50, top 100. You'd probably see her unless you're in a super veteran shard. Definitely great in raids still. Her death knives to spread negative stats effects, and Greg, you can't really understate how effective Greg is in reducing speed bar on everyone in raids, in Alliance Wars. She is a war defense character, but she is usable just about everywhere else, and Dark Dimension 3 really shines in Dark Dimension 3. So if you need to upgrade some of her stats, then definitely something to consider there. Now, Thanos is added to this list. I wouldn't have put him on here about 4 or 5 months ago, but he is here now because of Empowered Thanos and how powerful he really is. I would say, if you've seen any of my Black Order videos, I have a 7 red star maxed Thanos. I got lucky and got that as a pull, so I don't have to consider upgrading him, but he is definitely one I would consider to 6 red star, especially if you have Ebony Maw and you have the full team together. If you don't, I probably would take a pass on it, but I would maybe hold your tokens, and maybe if that's something you're looking to building up later on, I would consider doing that. He really brings the pain. He is probably about 75% of the Black Order's damage. I think a lot of people who have struggled to use the Black Order or think that they're a bit weak, there were some people in my alliance who thought that you really need a strong Thanos, and if Thanos isn't strong enough, then you'll notice that they will maybe not perform as well as they should. But if you get Thanos up high enough, he really is a one-man wrecking crew when he is in his empowered form. So definitely consider that if you are looking to bring up Black Order. Now, Yoyo's on this list here. She is great everywhere: arena, raids, Dark Dimension, and Alliance War. The problem with her, of course, is how rare she is. So I'm sitting on a 4-star Yoyo, and I don't think I really went that hard in the Blitz, so maybe that's why. And we all know that she's quite rare in the premium orbs. So that being said, she's really hard to raise alongside characters like Minerva as well. It's really hard to get shards for her, so ranking her up is difficult. Thus, she is very... You're not going to be able to upgrade her red stars too much unless you get really lucky or you spend money or something like that. Regardless, though, I would consider upgrading her to this level if you can, if you have the shards available, and maybe down the line, if she becomes a bit more available, I would definitely consider that. She's a great character, and she can easily, with the offense down, she's a great PvP type character for arena mode, and she's still very solid elsewhere. Symbiote SpiderMan. Now, he's easily a top 5 character, I think, right now. His kit is pretty godly. It does a lot. Not only does he apply defense down on his basic, he can extend all the negative status effects on his special, and then he does like up to a 2-turn slow on his ultimate, and he drains 100% in raids in Dark Dimension. So where he does excel, obviously, is those raids in Dark Dimension mode, but he is still quite powerful in the Symbiote's team in Alliance War, and not so much in Arena, but I have seen him on occasion used there as well. He is a super solid character, definitely one worthy of Red Star upgrades. I recently got him to 5 Red Star. His shards are a bit less available, though, so kind of in the same boat as Yoyo, but in a different situation. It might be difficult to get him to 6 red stars, though, or 6 stars in general, to activate a 6 red star boost. But his milestones are coming back around on the 8th of July, I think it is. So that would be in a day from now. So you'll be able to access more shards for him. Whether or not that's enough to get you the 6-star is another matter, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But definitely a solid character, and probably one I would invest into myself, because I did do the 5, and I think if I can get him to 6-star, I would probably do the 6. He's an incredibly strong character, and considering the symbiotes are only 3 out of 5 characters right now, I think there's definitely room for that team to improve, and I think Symbiote Spider-Man will be leading the charge on that one. Now, those guys on the top shelf there, those are sort of the creme de la creme type characters, in my opinion. Those are like the top meta characters in the game. I do want to sort of mention some of these other ones, though, and especially Sinister. I do want to go over him a little bit more. Sinister is an incredibly strong character. I wouldn't use him really in raids, but outside of that, you still see him pretty much everywhere else. And with the possible introduction, or I think it's pretty much that is going to happen with Emma Frost coming out next patch, Marauders are going to get their 5th member, but Sinister is definitely the leader of that. I mean, unless something crazy in Emma Frost's kit is going to make her better than Sinister, but I doubt it. Also, Sinister's clones are not reliant, but they're heavily boosted by red stars. So the higher red stars you have, the stronger that the clone is going to be. I think this is one of the few characters that are kind of future-proofed in the way that I think Sinister's always going to be good. I think Sinister has long-term potential because of the clone, that he could just clone someone else, and if those characters are newer, you know, like him cloning Symbiote Spider-Man, for example, or Black Bolt or something like that, like those characters are newer than he is, but you'll be able to get the benefits of all of those characters alongside Sinister. He's a very strong kit, a bit of a healing oriented kit, but the more hit points that he has, the more that's going to heal everyone else, and that's going to make him a bit of a nightmare. I have 5 red stars on him right now. I might consider him for a 6 as well, but I don't have the shards for him yet. He is farmable though through the War Store now, finally, but my war resources are pretty stretched right now with Dark Dimension 3, so we'll have to see, but definitely not a character to sneeze at. And if you're looking for a strong character with long-term potential, I think Sinister has it. Now, I put Carnage here because again, for the same reasons as the symbiotes, I think the symbiote team has potential long term. You typically would see him, he's definitely a fan favorite character for the city lane in Dark Dimension 3. You can also use him in the city lanes for the Greek raids, and some people have actually tried to use him in Ultimate 7 as well, as long as you have him alongside Symbiote Spider-Man. He is usable in war as well, not so much in arena, which is why I put him in this 3 out of 4, which now I realize that some of these other, like Phoenix, probably should be down here as well. He is a strong character. All of his whole entire kit does damage. He heals also based on a percentage of his max hit points when he gets low health, when he knocks someone else into low health, so definitely a solid character here. And when we're getting into the honorable mentions, these are characters that I think you should take a look at if you have maybe 4 or 5 red stars for them, and you're thinking about some characters that you want some extra damage potential. Magneto is a bit of a strange pick, I know, but he is a legendary character. His entire kit is revolved around damage. Now, he is kind of falling out of the meta. He used to be a heavy arena meta character. No longer really the case, I think, with the introduction of Black Bolt and the Inhumans and Black Order. He's kind of fallen down the wayside, but you might see him in sort of newer arena shards still using him. Him and Juggernaut were the favorite duo, and I think he's definitely a strong character. If you're a more veteran character, you probably don't need to upgrade him though, because I think you got a 5 red star Magneto for free in the anniversary event, if I'm not mistaken. And I think I got lucky and got a 6 red star pull on Magneto myself, so I don't really need to consider that. Thor, on the other hand, he's a very strong second character to the Asgardians team. He is second to Hela in terms of the damage. You could also use him elsewhere. Some people have used the full Asgardian team in Arena if you're on a sort of a newer or mid-tier Arena shard. He is usable in raids. The Asgardians are usable in raids. Where they shine, obviously, is war defense. Not so much in game modes like Dark Dimension or anything like that, but definitely a solid damage character, and with the update to his kit, with the Asgardian update and his passive, he does do quite a significant amount of damage. Ghost Rider here, very similar. He does a lot of damage. He isn't really used in game modes like Arena and Raids. Very rare unless you pull the 7 red star on him. You're probably not going to see him in Arena. I think there's a few times I saw him in Arena. So you're mostly going to be seeing him on the Supernatural team in Alliance War. And he actually has a place in the City Dark Dimension 3 lane as well. And if you watch my Supernatural video, my team reviews Supernatural video, then I talk a lot about Ghost Rider there. Now this is the rest of the Black Order here, minus Corvus Glaive. I think these are the 3 other honorable mentions for the Black Order team if you're looking to build up the Black Order in full. Now, Ebony Maw isn't actually available in the store yet, but he probably will be soon, at least by his second pass of the event. So if you want to hold your red stars for him, you can. I don't think he really needs the upgrades though, personally, but he is here anyways for if you wanted to boost his survivability and increase his healing a little bit on his ultimate, but honestly I don't think he needs it too much. But I think why he's here is because if you're trying to go hard in the arena, then you kind of want to get all of the Black Order up to a certain degree. And that's why Proxima and Cull are here as well. But I think Cull kind of outshines the other 3 in my opinion. I think having a high-powered Cull, when possible, when he's made farmable, would make him a lot stronger than the rest of the Black Order, aside from Thanos, of course. I think having Cull being the second highest in terms of red stars would be really important, not only for his tanking, but also most of his kit does damage as well. His basic and his ultimate do a huge chunk of damage. Proxima is here. I have a 5 red star Proxima, which I actually upgraded from 4 to 5. I think that you really want the Black Order as balanced as possible. If you happen to be running them on Alliance War or defense, then you'll know that when one dies, it kind of falls apart and Thanos can't be empowered anymore. At least for those who are using them on defense. So having them up to a decent standard would make it harder for one single person to get killed off. So that's why she is put here. Now we're getting into this category where I say tempting but no. And so these are the characters who on the surface might look good for red star upgrades, but you probably shouldn't. Now I'm going to start at the end here with Corvus Glaive. The reason why I put Corvus Glaive at here is because in my opinion, out of the 5 Black Order members, I think he's just damage. I think that Proxima is much more important than Corvus because of her control potential, her offense down, and some of her other things in her kit. Corvus really is just damage, and while that's fine, I just don't think it's really all that amazing, and I don't think it's necessary. But he is here. If he's your last member that's for some reason doesn't have red stars, then you could consider it. But otherwise, I really wouldn't invest too heavily into the bigger red star numbers, 5 or 6 with Corvus. Now we'll start at Invisible Woman. She doesn't really have anything in her kit that does damage. When it comes to red stars, most of the things that you want to consider are damage. If they're heavy damage characters, then they're gonna make much more use out of red stars than others. Invisible Woman has her basic, but which can actually be quite strong. If you watched I also have put out a Team Reviews Fantastic Four series where I go over her as well. Her counters can be incredibly powerful, but again, not really worth, I think, gold promotion credits, and probably not even worth a 5 red star upgrade. You know, maybe I would consider upgrading her to 4 if you don't have it, but otherwise I wouldn't. Minerva, again, a very tempting choice here. She is used quite heavily in most game modes, maybe outside of Arena now, but most people use her in quite a lot of places. Problem is, though, that the only thing that scales with red stars would be her health, which then is her healing on her passive when she kills people, but I don't think it's enough to really warrant the red star upgrades. Her ultimate, which drains 15% health, that's static, so that's not dependent on red stars. Now the rest of these characters, Coulson, Red Skull, and Taskmaster, these are like sort of the strongest war defense characters out there. Kind of tempting because that would make your war defense team stronger, but that's largely where they're used, and that's about it. So I would not really go out of your way to upgrade these characters so far, in my opinion, with red star tokens. And then Colossus and Juggernaut. So these are the tanks that I was talking about earlier. Juggernaut for Magneto, Colossus for Phoenix. I think Colossus gets a little bit more of a nod for usability than Juggernaut these days, but Juggernaut has more damage in his kit than Colossus does. Either way, I probably wouldn't do it here. I would maybe take Colossus to 4, Juggernaut to 4 if you want to. I really wouldn't take it much beyond that. Nothing in his kit really does damage outside of his Colossus' passive and his basic, so for that reason alone, it doesn't really warrant any upgrades. And the same thing for Juggernaut. He does a little bit more on the damage side, but I would not take him much beyond 4. If you happen to get lucky on a red star pull, then that's great. But other than that, I really wouldn't consider it. And these are the sort of, especially the top 2 rows of the characters here. Honestly, these are like kind of your top meta characters in the game right now as of July 2020. You know, this is probably going to be subject to change month to month or even a couple months from now. But for now, this is kind of the characters that I'm thinking are most relevant in the game right now. Let me know what you guys think though, and you know, if I got it wrong or you don't think that I really made any good choices here for who you should upgrade with your red star tokens, that's fine. You know, I'm not telling people that they have to do this, but these are just the ones that I've considered and the characters that I think generally are used more broadly within the game and wants to consider right now. Of course, if none of these characters you really want to upgrade, then just hoard your tokens because they're not going anywhere. So, you know, if you're looking for some characters to upgrade later down the line, then at least you'll have them when they're available, rather than just spending them right now. So that's always an option too. But anyways, that's it for me for today, guys, and I hope some of this helped people decide on potential red star upgrades for your roster. Of course, if you liked my video today, then please hit that like button, and if you haven't already, then consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell to see more content from me about Marvel Strike Force. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week, and until next time, guys, stay safe. Boylon signing out.